the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network. As tonight, we're here at Talladega Super Speedway for what will be our championship race. Tonight, we crown a champion. Thank you very much for joining me here tonight. I'm in the booth with you. My name is KR Stolfus, and I appreciate each and every one of you joining us here tonight for this one. DJ Mitchell making his way out onto the track. Several other drivers have turned quite a few laps here in practice, as we're going to take a quick look at that. Oh, no, we're not, because we're going right into qualifying. And I do got to say, I got my good buddy with me, Travis Elliott, but not quite ready. We'll give him a minute till he's 100% ready, but just know he's here. He's just getting lotioned up. All right, so we're moving into qualifying. As we get ready for qualifying, a couple cars have started to make their way out onto the speedway. Josh Milam, one of them. Josh Milam picked up a win this season, but missed the cutoff for making it into the chase. Here he is, final race of the season, still out there. Al Pacino's booty sweat. Number 7 machine making an appearance. You can catch him again tomorrow night if the 7 machine is not going to fill your desires here tonight. You can check him out once again Monday night. And then we also have several other drivers who will out on the speedway as well, including several of our championship contenders. Dana Osborne in the 88 making his way out, championship driver here tonight. And now that Travis Elliott is here, he is lotioned up, he is in his bathrobe, he is ready to go. Travis, how you doing tonight?
I'm fantastic. I'm ready for the 75 laps around Talladega to crown a winner this for the season.
Well, Travis, I appreciate you making it in. I know I got you rushing around, and you did an outstanding job getting here. And championship night, final race of the season, and Chris Akers coming in as the heavy favorite.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got the momentum. He picked up that win last week at iRacing Super Speedway, and you know, getting a win there is no easy task. And won the initial round. Maybe he might be going for that clean sweep, and I think that'd be a defining way to win a championship, especially after the season he's had this year.
Yeah, Chris Akers 2 in a row here in the championship chase. Nobody has more than one win so far this season going into the chase. And then Chris Akers did have that one win in the regular season. We hit the chase. He hit 2 wins in a row. Heavy favorite coming into tonight. In fact, I believe with our car count not being high enough, I don't have the exact number with me, but I believe if we don't have 20 cars, all Chris Akers has to do is take the green flag, and the championship is his.
Yeah, but I think we both know that, you know, he if he can get that clean sweep, that 3 in a row, you know, definitely be going for that. And I haven't seen him out on the track.
No, he hasn't made his way out there just yet. Qualifying times are starting to roll in. Drivers trying to turn 2 laps here in 5 minutes. Josh Milam going to the top of the leaderboard with a 54.22. Paul Servant in 4th place, but looks like Servant has done his 2 laps, so he's going to fall to 5th as Hunter Reynolds now moves to the top of the board. So Travis, everything getting down to the nitty gritty, and I think the drivers who haven't started rolling out are planning to not qualify. As Paul Servant in the 3 gonna make his way onto pit road here. The 44 of Anthony English gonna roll around. English in the 44 going to set his lap into 6. Paul Servant moves up into 2nd in the 3 machine. So my counter was a little bit off and goofy, but Paul Servant now doing his 2 full laps. So what we're going to do, Travis, we're going to step away from the national anthem. We'll be back to set our starting lineup for tonight's championship night race. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as the drivers are starting to roll out from our starting grid here tonight. That means one thing, it is time to go through tonight's starting lineup. So let's get right into it as the field pulls away on row number 1 on the inside with the best time of a 54.201. That is Hunter Reynolds. On his outside, championship contender, the 3 of Paul Servant, finishing out row 1. Row number 2 going to be the 7 of Josh Milam, who is, yeah, the 7 of Josh Milam and the 17 of JD Crow. Sorry, I got lost in my own head. Row 3, the 88 of Dana Osborne and the 343 of Russell Hancock. Row 4 going to be Les Levy in the 62 and the 44 of Anthony English. And row 5 going to be the 27 of Sean Stevens. And on his outside, someone I haven't done this for yet this season, that is the 04 of Mark Mann.
In row number 6, the 61 of DJ Mitzel and the 28 of Jimmy Reynolds. Row number 7, the 82 of Daniel Harrington and the 25 of Adam Evans. And bringing up the final row of the race is going to be the 711 of Stephen Herman and the 31 of Todd Poston.
Chris Akers in the 4. We are waiting to see if he can make it out there tonight. It has been a struggle so far for him. He comes in tonight as a heavy favorite. I believe he has to take the green flag. If he does, the championship is his. So far, we all wait with bated breath to find out if he's going to make it out there tonight.
Yeah, and if he doesn't make it, I mean, we're going to have a knockout, drag out 75 laps, I think, tonight, KR.
Oh, it's going to be a knockout, drag out 75 laps anyways. 15 cars on the starting lineup here. 17 cars scheduled to start. Here we go with the long wait. Once the pace car peels off, these drivers have a tremendous wait. One of the worst waits you can for a green flag.
Oh, yeah. The anticipation just builds and builds, and you get the green flag. Paul Servant out to a great start. Pulled completely away from the 17's bumper there. Almost has a gap to Hunter from here, but looks like Hunter's going to get that inside line going back with Josh Milam underneath his car, which I'm assuming you had an issue because he's driving a different car than normal. Am I right?
I have no idea. I didn't get to ask that.
Well, Hunter's completely got that outside line, but here comes the outside. Paul Servant, JD Crow. No real momentum building up, though, but, you know, it's only lap 1 as we go down the back straight into turn number 3. And I believe we still don't have the 4, but he has 75 laps and to take a lap, KR.
That he does, and off of turn number 4 for the first time onto the front stretch. Our cars at full song. The 26 leading the field, Paul Servant on his outside, battling door to door with the 7 of Josh Milam, trying to surge his way ahead. So 1 lap done and in the books. We are 1 lap closer to the end of this season, and Travis, it has been an outstanding season. We've had one of topsy-turvy, all kinds of this, all kinds of that. But in the end, it has come down to 3 races and 12 drivers. And man, I don't know, but I've been stuck in my seat, riveted every single week.
Oh yeah, especially with the introduction of iRacing Super Speedway. I think it really added a whole new dimension to this league, and just the speeds that you can get, the runs that you can get, the finishes that we've had, all of the finishes that we've had. I think the person who was leading on the last lap, and then we had a last lap pass out of turn 4 6 times, all within a span of 2 seconds, pretty much. But yeah, it's definitely been a excellent season, especially being up in the booth, and I think these guys are gonna give us 75 great laps around this beautiful super speedway, and we're gonna crown a champion who's gonna be the one to take the top spot. And as the top spot gets taken by Paul Servant right now, pulling down in front of Hunter Reynolds. A little bit of contact between the 343 and the 17 is going to clear the bottom as well, but Hunter is going to go up to the middle, and he is going to kind of be a sitting duck with the 343 going right around him because he has the momentum. But it looks like the 44 of Anthony English is going to tuck right under Hunter's bumper, and the 343 is going to be caught out here and start to fall back as they come out of turn number 2.
The Paul Servant in the 3 down on the yellow line, out in front. JD Crow in the 17 machine, tucked in tight. Right behind him, Hunter Reynolds on the outside now, and Josh Milam, third car on the inside line. Josh Milam, 1 win on the season. JD Crow not having a win this season, but still had a decent season when he would make his way out here. And JD no stranger to super speedways, but only his 6th start this season. So a little bit down the points order, but speaking of points and something we didn't talk about, let's roll right into our points standings as they came into this race here tonight. Chris Akers had a 17-point lead over Paul Servant. Akers still has not made it out on the track yet, so anything could happen. I have sent a request into race control to see what the ruling is on Chris, if he makes it out there, if he's showed up, what the situation is, what's going on, because it all is going to play a big factor in the points here tonight. But Paul Servant second in the point standings, Hunter Reynolds third. It is still all up for grabs. Every single position is very close, and nothing set in stone just yet.
Yeah, I mean, especially with having 17 cars in the field, and it looks like the 7-Eleven is being the race control. So really, right now we only have 15 cars on track. I don't know what the ruling would be, but 15 spots. I mean, I don't know if Chris is gonna have to get out here and try to turn a lap, or if this is his championship already, and we don't really know until the end of the race. I would say I think it just depends on where that 3 car who's leading the field right now, looking very strong with 17 behind him, what he can do and where he can finish tonight.
Yeah, Paul Servant can win this race, and if Akers doesn't make it out on the track, then it really is going to come down to what the ruling is. And like I said, I had that request in the race control. Have not heard about it yet. That's enough talk about that for the championship as far as that. How about this racing action we have on the track right now? The 62 of Les Levy and the Bust a Nut Machine being the 4th car down on the inside. Les Levy coming into this race, leading everybody outside of the chase, going to try and be the best of the rest, if you will. That 62 has had a solid season here.
Man, they're side by side up front. It's great pushing from the 17 and the 44 right here. And it's been pretty calm so far. Nobody really making a wild move to the top side, or it's just kind of been, hey, let's make it a few laps before we start racing a little bit harder. As that outside line is slightly gaining some momentum forward. No real momentum being generated from the back of that top lane. Too spread out to get anything really rolling. That 44 is trying to do everything he can to get Hunter up to be side by side by Paul. But the inside line is just doing so much right now. Sorry.
I do want to point out that the 61 of DJ Mitchell, one of our championship contenders, underwent very extensive shoulder surgery, and he's expected to be out for 3 months from regular life activities. But here he is out racing. He is going to do it for as long as he can. Bored out of his mind is what he said. So here he is, driving a car with one hand. And we talked about last week we had a driver racing one-handed. Well, now we got another one racing one-handed, but this is a truly one-hand effort, as his other arm is locked down tight, not allowed to move. So DJ Mitchell doing this one-handed. If he can't make it throughout this entire race, I have extended an invitation to him to come up and join us in the booth, Travis. So we'll see if he can make it. Championship contender, just looking to ride this one out and finish out this season.
I mean, talk about dedication, right? You get a guy out here who's, ooh, that was a big wiggle from the 44, it looked like. But you have a guy who's essentially one of the founding members of this league, and doesn't want to really let anything stop him from being a part of these races, and just goes out to a testament of dedication to this league and the guys that show up every single week. I know we wouldn't really have a league if we didn't have these guys out here, but we also wouldn't have a league if PJ and those guys didn't get this thing together to run some fun laps. As Hunter Reynolds clears Paul Servant, and that is your second and third place points leaders right there. So that's something that we're gonna have to be watching out for the entire night, which I feel like we always talk about the 26 and the 3, and it just makes it even more so prevalent tonight.
Do want to give a shout out to Mara Clark checking in on YouTube, along with Sports Crazy Boy 1981. That is another of the Candy Shack driving stable, and Mr. Holloway not able to make it here tonight.
I was about to say, who's sport? What was his name? Sports Crazy Candyman.
Sports Crazy Boy. He says, "Good luck, guys. Candyman not home and missed the start."
I thought his name was Sports Crazy Candyman. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Holloway. Oh man, hey, we've gone 12 laps without a caution. KR, these guys are really being patient tonight. We're coming up on green flag pit stops here in a little bit.
Yeah, green flag pit stops not too far away. With 15 cars out on track, it would not be unheard of to see these guys go flag to flag. They have done it before. It has been a while since we went an entire race without a caution. And what you'll see is green flag pit stops. The more you have, the more opportunity comes up for a driver to make a mistake, and the more this field gets spread out.
And we've seen, throughout this season, the ups and downs that people have getting on and off pit road. So it's definitely something that you want to capitalize as a skill to maintain. Because there was a little checkup on the inside line, but yeah, the pit road can be killer. It can make or break your race. Essentially, you can kind of go in a little too hard, get a speeding penalty, or you don't go in fast enough, and you lose a lot of time to the people you're pitting with. Just a lot of things that can go wrong, and that's not even mentioning car contact. Having possibly 5-6 other drivers trying to do the same thing you're doing within a pretty limited space. But I would say Talladega is probably one of the best places for green flag stops, just because you have such a wide runoff area coming into the pits, and then exiting the pits. The merge lane is actually banked, so you can build up a pretty decent amount of speed as you come out onto the track after pitting.
Anthony English in the 44 on the high side. Right behind him is Jimmy Reynolds in the 28. 5 cars in the outside lane. Quite a few cars down on the bottom here. Mark Mann in the 04. Last car down on the inside lane. And Dana Osborne in the 88 has popped his engine.
And it looks like he's not going to be able to get it slowed up enough to get down into pit lane. Vaguely familiar, that one, to me. Because I did that about two weeks ago.
Man, that was a bad time to have that happen, because in my opinion, maybe you come down pit road right away, serve the penalty, you're losing time either way. But the good news is Dana was able to pop that engine, get out of the way. Everyone else was able to make moves and get around, including the 04 Mark Mann, who I just mentioned was the last car. Well, Dana Osborne popped that engine, and Mark Mann said, I'm going to go somewhere else, and he decided the front was where he wanted to be.
Yeah, that caused a major shakeup up front. The 28 of Jimmy Reynolds assuming the lead with the 25 of Adam Evans behind him. And then here comes the 31 of Todd Poston and the 343 of Russ Hancock on the outside with the 04 of Mark Mann. So Mark Mann definitely making a run from the back, trying to make a statement that he's here and he's always ready to race, and he's gonna
drops
given
down
room.
to the inside. Yeah,
Mark Mann gives a lot of space.
Makes some big moves here in the last few laps. Do want to point out Dana Osborne did not make it around. pulled down to the inside and accepted the assistance from iRacing to get on the pit road.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to pop your engine, I mean, we're talking about lucky enough to blowing your engine, but one of the best places to do it would be coming right out of turn 4, and I think taking a 40-second hold over a tow, even if he was speeding, I would have taken the 40-second hold any day. But he's gonna be in the pits for at least a minute and a half, 2 minutes probably. So he's gonna lose maybe 3 laps, at least 2 for sure. But lap 17 on this tank of fuel, the 28 of Jimmy Reynolds holding this lead strong with the 25 behind him. And it looks like we have all Alliance Motorsports lined up on the bottom from the 28 all the way to the 26. So I would assume you're going to see the Alliance Motorsports guys hit pit road this time by, or in the next lap or 2 for sure. But with all those guys on bottom, I think you're going to see a lot of people hitting pit road very quick.
Yeah, just a handful of laps away. Dana Osborne, his car repaired. One of his 2 fast repairs having to be used. He is down on the way trying to get up to speed. He is going to lose another lap here. For multiple laps down for Osborne.
Ooh, the 25 and 31 getting together a little bit.
3 Wide Motorsports working that outside lane. The 31 of Todd Poston, the 343 of Russell Hancock trying to work together in the outside. Nobody going up there with them, so the 31 and the 343 doing a great job hanging out there with the small car count that they have.
Yeah, and they're also driving some Supras, and as the field goes past Dana Osborne, who's going to go another lap down, not pitting this time by, so the fuel run is a little bit longer than I thought. But yeah, the 3 wide guys, Todd and Russ running those Supras. Those Supras are
junk.
They're a handful to push with.
They're junk. Nobody likes Toyota.
I beg
it's
to
Chevy
differ.
all the way, I'm sure.
I mean, this field is pretty diverse between the Mustang and the Camaro, but those Supras are. They got a beautiful point on their nose, and I always joke whenever I drive the Supra, I'm here to take lives because you hit that bump wrong, and here comes the entire field. Aside from 3 cars, that's the 3 wide guys. Big lockups, but pretty tame for the most part.
All right, so on to pit road comes our field. 3 Wide Motorsports stays out, and they are running nose to tail. I'm going to try and stretch this just a little bit further than everyone else. The 31 of Todd Poston, the 343 of Russell Hancock, and the 61 of DJ Mitzel. And Travis, you know as well as I do, you're losing a little bit of time here by staying out with a 3-car group, but you might be able to stretch this and get some better mileage and make it up on the back end as we get closer, especially if this goes green flag all the way.
Yep, and here comes the 3 wide guys, and I'm watching that 61 to see how he does one arm getting into pit road, and looking pretty. I would say he has both arms right now.
Not a whole lot of drama hitting pit lane for them, but our first group of drivers who hit pit lane. The 44 of Anthony English out in front of all of them. Jimmy Reynolds starting to close in on him as Reynolds has the 7 of Josh Milam pushing on his back bumper. And I think everyone is close enough that we're going to see them all bunch back up here. We're going to get back into a big pack. Todd Poston and the rest of the 3 Wide Motorsports drivers have left their pit lanes as well.
They shouldn't lose too much time. As long as the 31 should be fine. As long as they can get up on track with how most of this field is 2x2. And as I say that, they're literally all together as Hunter Reynolds and Mark Mann are making the run on the outside. And it looks like they're just going to get assimilated into this lead pack here. So, I mean, the gamble paid off. They went an extra lap, and
Here they are.
Yeah, they're still right here, ready to go. As they're getting past 3 wide on the outside, and we're back 2 by 2. That bottom being led by the 44 of Anthony English, and the outside being led by Hunter Reynolds. And I think we're starting to get to that point where these guys are getting a little bit more racy, and it's showing more and more.
So one thing I do want to point out with this round of pit stops, but before I get to that, Les Levy just turned the fastest lap of the race at a 50.43. So business starting to pick up just a little bit. But I do want to point out everyone entire time on pit road was 34.5 seconds to 36.5 seconds for this entire field as it was spread out. So that being said, very even times on pit lane, and everyone bunches back up. So the guys who came out on top were the ones who hit pit road first. That's something to think about.
Yeah, that's typically how it goes. And you said it earlier. The kind of oddities is iRacing Super Speedway. We've seen people pit by themselves and still be with the pack just because of the speed you're running. But with where Todd and Russ and DJ were kind of running, I mean, to them they get an extra a +1 lap on the entire field, which at the end of the race, that 1 lap could mean something, but it's gonna really determine if they can make that up coming out of pit road and getting on to pit road, because the more aggressive you can be, that you can cut that time that they're gaining in half. But yeah, it's definitely good to go with the undercut around super speedways, especially if you have a lot of people with you. And like we saw, we had 12 drivers pit and 3 stay out, so they definitely had the numbers disadvantage also, so that didn't help them either.
No, but they did join part of the group, and that is a big bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So it was able, they were able to do that, have that extra lap of fuel, like you were saying. Now let's see where we go from here.
Yeah, and those if they can do it again, that's would technically be 2 laps of fuel on everybody. It's kind of the race kind of goes longer and longer. You get that net gain of fuel when the race comes to an end. Whether or not that's going to really pay off, because we could have a few late race cautions. We could have a few quick green flag stops. It could have a lot of things happen, but these guys are really kind of mellowed back out once again, once they caught back up and got in the positions that they wanted. The 7 of Josh Milam leading that outside with Paul Servant, pushing him hard. And they're going to get a good run out of turn number 2. Josh is probably going to clear Hunter and drop to the bottom if he can. And there he goes, KR.
Yep, he's moved down to the inside. Paul Servant in the 3 on the outside. Just want to touch base real quick. Chris Akers still hasn't made it out on the track. He has been in and out of TeamSpeak. I did get a little bit of clarification from Race Control. They said that Akers probably going to get last place points in this race. And if Paul Servant or Hunter Reynolds wins, leads a lap, it's still going to be an extremely close factor for this championship. So I still don't know how this is going to shake down.
And they've both led a lap. So that's already 1 bonus point right there. So I don't know if they do bonus points for having the fastest lap or having a clean race, but we could see this coming down to one of these 2 guys on this top side leading this top line really be the difference between winning a championship or missing out by 1 point for Chris Akers.
All right, so our field continues to cycle around. Everyone's still in this big group, including our only car not on the lead lap, the 88 of Dana Osborne. Osborne being 2 laps down right now. He would love to see a couple quick cautions and get him back on the lead lap. But the 88 staying out there, and he could be a factor to help Paul Servant, his teammate, over the 26 of Hunter Reynolds, and Hunter's got plenty of teammates around him.
Yeah, Hunter definitely has quite a few people to help him out. Pretty much the first 5 cars on the bottom lane are part of Hunter's team, so definitely has a lot of guys. And with the Candy Shack drivers kind of being a little short tonight, Paul has Dana, but I'm sure there's be a lot of people in here that would push Paul if they can. So the good thing about leagues like this is when you kind of have respect with one another, you can trust that, you know, the person behind you will push you, but you might not even know until you get to the line. But right now it looks like Hunter and Josh are just controlling this race from up front. Paul's trying to do everything he can to get Hunter back clear so he can keep leading this outside line himself to try to get clear of the bottom. A little checkup back with the 25. But with all they're picking up, they're just running 2 by 2. No real fussing yet.
As the field flashes by on the front stretch, across the start-finish line, and we start lap 29 of 75. Drivers have been out there for 10 laps. We're about halfway through this fuel run based off when everyone came down pit road last time. They made it 19 green flag laps. Some of them had to make it a little bit more difficult and went ahead and did 20 laps. So we're halfway through a fuel run here. And so with that being said, Travis, when do you really try to focus on your pit stop, when you're going to do it, and all this and that, as you are also trying to manage a race out there?
I mean, when you get that first, because some of these guys have kind of have like a fuel calculator. There's some sort of program that can kind of like calculate out roughly how much fuel that they have and how many laps that they can go. So it's a really helpful tool, especially here, because you don't have to do a whole lot of math. So you can kind of gauge, hey, we're getting about 19 to 20 laps to tank. Okay, we can plan. We're gonna pit, you know, this lap, and then when you pit, you pit, and then big checkup. 25 is drifted a little bit high. Is Les Levy and Dan Harrington gonna go 3 wide along the wall? But I guarantee you, these guys, as soon as they pit, they kind of already have a number in their head when they're gonna pit, and I would assume probably about 7 laps. So I mean, it's not as fantastical as it seems, but you kind of have an understanding that, hey, well, this is when we're going to pit. The real one that really matters is that last pit stop, and that's the one that takes a lot more planning. Because you got to decide, hey, are we going to take tires? We're going to take right sides, because running 50% fuel when you run the tank out, it's enough time to take at least right or lefts. Lefts being the fastest, obviously. As they're 3 wide, Dana Osborne leading Les Levy, trying to get something to happen. They're going to get a 4-car little lineup there, and it's going to fizzle out.
Last time around, most of this field set their fastest lap of the race, so everyone's pace is a little bit higher right now. And I was surprised to see that many drivers turn their fastest lap of the race right there. Because, you know, we're kind of in the middle of the race. We're not at the beginning, we're not at the end. We're smack dab in the middle, and everyone's still racing pretty hard right now, it seems.
Yeah, we're at that peak crescendo point of the race. We're about to start going downhill to really, you know, get white knuckled racing, as the 17's going to get left out to dry, but the 27's going to jump up there, maybe give him a little bit of hope, and he's going to fall back in line. But yeah, as fuel, these cars get a little bit lighter, less fuel in the car. Definitely speeds will pick up as you have guys kind of testing what lines to run and trying to figure out who they can trust if they need to go to that third lane. And we have guys like Les Levy just trying to make something happen, going to the front with the 82 of Daniel Harrington. This is the first time we've seen 3 wide up front for position. And Les and Dan doing a great job. They're pinching down. They're giving a... They can pinch down way more than that. That middle lane's giving them so much room. And that's how you make that third line work, KR, at Talladega.
Talking about Dan Harrington, he does own the fastest lap of the race at a 50.17. He is in that outside lane. Sean Stevens trying to close up to him. And now, Travis, you mentioned pinching down. It looks like Dan Harrington wants Les to drop down a little bit closer, but Les seems to be content just to ride around right there on that high side. And who can blame him? I mean, you got a few laps to log here. Get you a nice little space. Les has got all the air on the front of his nose. Man, why not?
And you can see that 88 Dana Osborne almost snuck right inside of the 25s right there. But you can see how tight that second middle lane is pinching on the bottom, and when you see that as a driver leading that outside line, that's pretty much the best thing that you can see. Just because you can get all the way down that second lane, and that's how you start to kind of choke that middle line and really kill their run, is you're not letting those cars cool off and really heat up fast, and it kind of takes away their momentum. As you can see, you don't pitch down the bottom. Les and Dan kind of just fell off. They start running a little bit higher, and especially with the Xfinity cars, they're really you really need all the help you can getting that third line really built up with momentum. And they had it for a second, but they fell back out, and I think they might be trying to plan when they're going to be pitting, as they both jump down to the bottom lane. So definitely something to keep in mind. The 3 of Paul Servant still trying to get up to Hunter Reynolds, being pushed by the 25. And I feel like the last time we saw the 25, we were talking about I think he had a really good save at iRacing Super Speedway, I think. But it's good to see him back out here again, racing with these guys.
Hunter Reynolds out in front in the 26. Paul Servant in the 3, leading the outside lane. Adam Evans in the 25, second car in the outside lane. So with that being said, we still have this group running nose to tail. Our 15 cars all within this group. And now we're creeping up on the next round of green flag pit stops. We're just a handful of laps away from that taking place once again. As you mentioned, Les Levy and Dan Harrington were up in that third lane. They were working their way forward, and then decided to drop back and get down to the inside.
And the 25 just got right onto Paul's bumper. You're going to try to give him a big push. The inside line checked up a little bit. That's going to get Paul clear. Yeah, great pushing by the 25, and got the 3 clear. Now he has to work his way to the bottom. I'm assuming that 25 is a part of the Alliance team. And it looks like he is. So definitely want to be getting to the bottom for him to pit with those guys. As pitting from the second lane, not recommended, KR.
Oh, that's why I do it all the time. I never listen to reason or logic. I just, I turn now. Good luck, everybody.
I mean, if you're clear, okay, like, go for it. And we are on the 19th lap for some of these guys. So I'm assuming you're going to see those guys that pit first last time come down this time. So the 3, 26, 7, 04, pretty much everybody except 3 wide. That's probably the easiest way to say it.
Of the 3 of Paul Servant leading the field. Not on the pit road this time.
No takers.
Lap. Might get a lap or 2 out of this one. The pace, like I said, the pace was a little awkward. Right there in the middle of this run was when everyone set their fastest lap. So wonder if drivers were trying to stretch it, trying to hit a number here.
Ooh, a little touch between the 17 and the 44 there. Looks like they got nothing really happened. A little tiny fender touch between those two. Kind of checked up that back of the field behind the 44. As the 17 and the 88 are going to try to make a little push up to the front. And JD Crow is somebody who tends to not pit on cycle with a lot of people. He pit with them earlier, but being on this outside line, he could be trying to stretch it, as it looks like.
Here it comes quite a bit.
I believe that's just the Alliance Motorsports guys.
Candy Shack Motorsports out in this mix as well, with Paul Servant in the 3. JD Crow staying out. He is now your race leader. Dana Osborne has stayed out. He is multiple laps down. DJ Mitchell top posting. So 3 Wide Motorsports again trying to stretch their fuel a little bit here. And the 88 making his extra lap. And why wouldn't you, if you could be out in front and maybe catch a caution here?
Yeah, I mean, it can't hurt. Especially, I'm sure, the 17, 343, 61, and 31 are all kind of, they're probably not too upset with, Dana and the 17 staying out, because they can save a little bit more fuel. As the 17 big lockup, more locking up.
Boy, he came in with a full head of steam, and I want to say I think he got it slowed down.
It's gonna be close. He was locking up for about 75 feet, it looked like. There was one point where he was locking up so bad he was just going straight. So definitely it will be interesting to see if he gets a speeding penalty, as I believe looks like Paul, Hunter, and Josh broke away from the rest of that pack.
Very quick pit stops for these 3 drivers. And they are well-seasoned super speedway drivers, so it is not unusual to see drivers like this continue to have a good night. And the 3 and the 26 especially, as they are trying to chase down a championship here.
The 3 wide guys with JD and Dana, they're gonna get past here, but not too far back from that three-man group. You have the 44 and the 28, so they're gonna slot in right behind them, and I think they're gonna benefit from hitting where they pit, because they're gonna have a little bit of numbers advantage if they can build everything up. As we see a group of 3, a group of 2, a group of 3, a group of 2, and a group of 3. So a lot of guys trying to catch back up if they can. It looks like the 17 is going to get to the 3's bumper pretty soon. Full head of steam being pushed by that 31, and they're going to catch right back up. So once again, staying out a little bit longer, paying off for the 3 wide guys every time more and more. And I think as the race goes on and that field really spreads out during those green flag stops, I think it could benefit them even more, because they'll have the numbers advantage, it seems. As this time we saw 3 guys come out of pits together, being separated by quite a bit until the next 2 cars, and we're back here side by side with the 17 pushing the 3 now.
We have had 2 drivers fall off of the pace. That is the 25 and the 82. They find themselves in 13th and 14th spot, as a new fast lap of the race turned by the 44 of Anthony English with a 49.81, and about 7 other drivers just turned their fastest lap of the race. So fresh tires, tank of fuel, and it seems like maybe everyone's starting to think about go time.
Yeah, you saw Hunter, Paul, and Josh pull away and have that pretty solid lead. And I think the 3 wide guys, pretty much pitting out right in the middle of that, connected this field back together somewhat. They were kind of the olive branch to give the draft to the 44 on the 28, and they're back right up here. So definitely working out for those 3 wide guys tonight. At least in my opinion, it's been going pretty well for them on pit road.
So as the field is bunched back up, 2 by 2, we go down the front back stretch. Ooh. Good grief.
Imagine though if the front stretch looked like the back stretch. That'd be a pretty fun track.
iRacing Super Speedway.
No. I mean, if the track was like 5 lanes wide, then yeah. But it'd be nice if the entire track was like this front straight where you can get at least 5 wide comfortably. Ooh, Josh got in the apron a little bit. Almost went up right into Paul. That could have been a bad one there. We haven't seen a caution yet tonight. We're well over halfway. I'm still sitting here, been green flag the entire time, so these guys really doing a good job showing a little bit of patience tonight, as they're still kind of, like you said, ramping up their speed more and more.
Yeah, the speed's picking up a little bit each and every time around. And, you know, the sun going down, track cooling off a little bit. We are on the downhill side of our laps. We start lap 46 of 75. So 30 laps remain in this race. We've been green flagged the entire time. Several different leaders, but for the most part, everyone has stayed bunched up. We do have Mark Mann in the 04, running all by himself right now. Had a long stay on pit road, and that is what has set him back here. He's going to have to wait a while till Adam Evans and Dan Harrington can catch up to him. As we take a look now on Adam Evans, that is Mark Mann just ahead of him, as Mann heads off into turns 3 and 4. And so a tough break for a championship contender here. Dan Harrington tucked in behind Adam Evans, and Mark Mann waiting for him to come and pick him up. And again, Dana Osborne popped his engine, multiple laps down now. So a lot of our championship drivers having issues here tonight, including the man who had won 2 in a row, Chris Akers. He has not turned a lap just yet, and we've talked about that extensively. And Paul Servant trying to do everything he can to try and win this championship in this final race.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that the 4, you know, is having, I believe he's having connection issues trying to get into the race. But I mean, I'm sure he'd love to see his teammate get it if he can't get it himself. I mean, obviously, you want to win a championship more than the other drivers on the track, but you know, everybody else wants to do the same thing you're doing. So, the only thing you can do is come back next season and keep that momentum going forward. And you know, you start out with a win, maybe get 2 in a row again. Who knows? But we still have a little bit of time before he can get back in here and maybe turn a lap or 2 to get out here. This field is. Oh, Josh blew his engine.
Josh Milam, his engine lets go. He holds on to it. He's going to make it onto pit road. And the rest of the field gets by. How about that, Travis?
Yep, Josh, being the the veteran he is, he recognized that he could get down pit road. He's going to slowly roll, definitely go a lap down. So definitely wants a caution here. That just means he's going to be fighting with the 88 for the lucky dog. But I think for Josh, he's more out here to try to facilitate other drivers to get a championship, as he is out and rolling. Got that fast repair done, and he's going to cut this fuel stint of the main pack in half here. Most of the field pitted about 10 laps ago. And because of that blown engine, Paul Servant is going to take the lead with the 17 of JD Carreau right behind him. And there's the man with one arm, DJ Mitzel, in 3rd place.
Yeah, DJ having a good run here and must be feeling pretty good. He's out in front in the top 5, trying to mix it up for the race lead. I do want to point out we got 26 laps to go. Everybody is one pit stop away from making it the rest of the way. Josh Milam, who just had to come down pit road, still couldn't make it the rest of the way from here. So with everyone having to pit, gotta wonder when do you come down pit road, because it seems like first group to pit is the one that comes out on top.
Ooh, I don't know what happened there, but he got shot up to the wall. 27 is going to get up behind him, but yeah, the last pit stop is always something you have to think about, because yeah, you can pit it, you know, what would it be, like lap 57, 56, and you're good to the end, but green white checkers. That's the thing that really throws a wrench into things. Do you think you're going to have multiple green white checkers? And nothing is worse than, you know, you have enough fuel to the end of the race, maybe you have enough fuel for one green white checkered, but there's always that what if you have two? You're gonna have to give up that position. So I think you're gonna see guys kind of try to go maybe 1 or 2 laps, maybe 3 laps over if they can. The guys that could probably make that happen more is those 3 wide guys, as that outside line's gonna get a big head of steam being pushed by the 44. Hunter Reynolds going to clear Paul Servant going into turn number 1. The 44 did a great job getting to Hunter's bumper and pushing him around Paul right there. And that's going to leave him leading the outside with Jimmy Reynolds pushing him. So we'll see how they can do with 4 cars on this high side, as the field being spread out more and more. So this is the top 10 right here you see in this lead pack, minus excluding Dana Osborne. And 11th through 13th, a little bit further back.
Yeah, speaking of 11th through 13th, let's check in on them. That is the 25 of Adam Evans, the 82 of Dan Harrington, and the 04 of Mark Mann. They are 11th, 12th, and 13th. 14th place is the 7 of Josh Milam. He is getting ready to be swallowed up by the field here. We'll see how he is going to pick his battle this time. And it looks like he's going to go to the high side here and let everyone go to the inside of him. In fact, he's going to stay in the middle. Now he moves up to the high side.
And it looks like, so that outside line just disappeared completely. So I'm assuming that we're going to see pit stops here very soon. I don't think these guys are going to let this fuel run out. And I guarantee you almost you're going to see that 7 pit with this field if they pit. Josh out here not really going for a championship or anything, but if he can help, you know, somebody like Hunter or any of the other hopefuls that are out there to get a championship, he'll do what he can. Look, JD Crow getting onto the apron.
Yeah, and that's going to send Les up the track a little bit too. Looked like the 62 was anticipating an issue, and he sliced up the track trying to give room, and now he's the only one in the outside lane, and he's going to fall back a little bit here.
I mean, he's going forward on my screen. These guys are checking up right now. Unless it's just hold on 2 cars right there. I mean, he's probably going to fizzle out, but the 7 of Josh Milam, here he comes.
Yeah, Josh sliding up to help him out. Teammates there in Alliance Motorsports. So the 7 of Milam, the only car 1 lap down. So if we get a caution, he now will be the one to receive the free pass. Dana Osborne would not. Osborne 2 laps down in this situation.
Was Josh about to 17? Almost got around. I don't know if he got help from the 61 there, but it looks like Josh might get less clear Hunter right here. So
he does push him
from
to
a bad
the
spot
lead,
to a better spot.
And the 62 is going to slide in front of the 26. Now Josh Milam in the 7 gets left high and dry, but Les Levy out in front.
What a random series of events. Les getting shuffled out by a checkup, gets a little bit of help from a checkup, gets Josh Milam to push him all the way to the front, and here he is leading. And I'm sure he would like to pit from the front of the field instead of the back of the field when you have a teammate like Hunter behind you. So definitely a good look for him. And Josh is going to go all the way to the wall to try to get as much space as he can, it seems, so he can maybe drop to the back of this pack. And we're going a little bit longer than we're in the pit window right now, Care. So 20 laps, we're within 20 laps, and these guys are still out on track. So
yeah, the 7 of Josh Milam, I think he's doing a smart move. He is the only car 1 lap down right now. No reason to be up there mixing it up. He did help his teammate. That's a good reason. And I'll say it before. I've said it before. I'll say it again. You have every right to race each and every car that is out there. We got some drivers peeling off. This time, 3 Wide Motorsports going to hit pit lane first.
Yeah, big lockups there. I think they might have hit. I think they might have had a little contact between one another. At least that's what it looked like.
Now they've changed that up. But to finish my thought with the 7, being the only car 1 lap down, you don't have anyone to race. Why not hang back a little bit? If a crash does happen, you have a chance to avoid it. You get that free pass. But I think so far Josh Milam just showed how good of a super speedway driver he is and made all the right decisions. Shoved his teammate to the lead and then took a step back and tucked in tight behind someone now.
Yep, wiped his hands clean and said, "My job's done," and was going back to riding. Yeah, it's interesting to see that the 3 wide guys be the first ones to hit pit road, which, I mean, if you think about it, they have less fuel on the tank.
A little less
tank.
fuel,
yeah,
a little shorter pit stop.
That makes sense.
They have been on pit road on average, our pit stop average here, they were on pit road for an average of 2 seconds less than everyone else this last time around. Now this final stop for everybody hasn't happened yet, but so far 3 Wide Motorsports has made a statement. They've been on pit road for about 2 seconds less than everyone else.
Yeah, and they got, as the field is going into turn 3, they have a pretty decent amount of space between them as they're hitting the start finish line now. So it's going to be interesting to see how they turn out here, as still nobody hitting pit road this time by. So the field is definitely going to have to take a little bit longer of a pit stop, especially if they're trying to get a little bit more fuel in the car for a green flat or green white checkered attempts. I'm sorry.
Right.
But yeah, it could pay off for DJ, Todd, and Russ to have a little bit less fuel in the car and gain a whole lot of time here, as we have a group of cars, the 25 of Adam Evans, the 04 Mark Mann, and the 82 of Daniel Harrington hitting pit road. The 3 cars under the Alliance Motorsports team. And it looks like you're going to see less, and here comes the rest of the field, along with the 7 of Josh Milam and the 88 of Dana Osborne. So,
ooh, JD Crow's going to make contact with the 88. Trouble at the back.
More drivers.
John Stevens got involved.
The 7 of Josh Milam had to drive on the grass of pit road. Probably is going to get a penalty for that, but that just makes the 3 wide guys' idea to pit by themselves a little bit better, as they're coming out of turn number 4 right now. Paul Servant just now leaving his box. So,
yeah, DJ Mitchell, Todd Post, and Russ Hancock, they have been at full song. They are going to make quick work of this group.
Yeah, they're going to rocket on past the majority of the field and walk on by the 3 of Paul Servant, who is your race leader. The 61 of DJ Mitchell driving one arm, now the leader of this race, and by quite a big margin. And Care, we've seen large leads like this before, and it begs to the question of how nice are the guys behind them going to play with each other? Because if they're not going to play nice, they're not going to catch these 3 as long as they stay nose to tail. They got the work cut out for them. They're going to have to try to say, hey, we got to go. Let's stop racing, as the 44 is going to go all on around the 3 of Paul Servant, being pushed by Hunter. And this field is very spread out, and it looks like Paul might lose touch with the 26 and 44 here. Might be able to hang on just enough. It's the 62 of Les Levy, and I believe that is the 28 of Jimmy Reynolds. And it looks like the 3 is going to be able to keep up with that pack. But yeah, the 3 wide guys, they're going a lot faster than the 3 cars behind them. So, I mean, 4 miles an hour doesn't seem like a lot, but on tracks like this, 4 miles an hour is quite a bit.
So an excellent race strategy so far by the drivers of 3 Wide Motorsports. DJ Mitchell, Top Post, and Russ Hancock sitting 1, 2, and 3. I mentioned they were on pit road for an average of 2 seconds less than everyone else. Well, then Anthony English on pit road for 31 seconds that round, but it still wasn't enough to overcome the great strategy that 3 Wide Motorsports has employed here. 14 laps to go. Now we just need to see this race play out. Should we get a caution, that will wipe out the 61, the 31, and the 343, this tremendous lead that they have here in the closing stages of this race.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at the interval between Anthony and the 343, and that interval is not getting any smaller. In fact, it's getting slightly larger. A lap ago it was about 5.1 seconds. This time by at the line, 5.4. So these 3 drivers definitely kind of maintaining their pace against these guys, as the pack, the field is now 2 by 2, and that either I think that's going to be kind of a bad thing for the 3 wide guys, as they're 3 wide back here. Dana's going to go to the high side and get out of the way of these guys, has a little bit of damage. But I mean, you got to be happy with yourself if you're the 3 wide guys, because your strategy call just netted you 5.5 seconds on the main pack, and you guys are just sitting pretty up front.
You have your teammates around you. You have open air, not a lot of traffic around you. How awesome was this strategy from 3 Wide Motorsports? And we knew something was up. They were able to get an extra lap in the early stages. And even though it was costing them in the early stages, we said this might play into their hands on the backside. And here it is. Tremendous lead. 5.6 second gap from Hunter Reynolds to Russ Hancock.
Yeah, and that gap, every 10th matters, and they're slowly maintaining that interval between P3 and P4. And I think the second pack really needs to sort out that, hey, maybe we need to try single file and get something going, because we're not going to catch them unless something dramatic happens and there's a wreck back here. I mean, even if there is a wreck, which I would love to see this thing go flag to flag, you're still P1, 2, and 3, so you're still going to control the first 2 lanes for sure. As 3 wide, Dana Osborne splitting 28 and the 44, and it looks like these guys are starting to realize that they need to get single file, as Hunter and Paul, the 17 of JD Crow, the 88 of Dana Osborne, and they're going to get single file finally, and they're going to start working their way to catch this 3-car pack of DJ Mitchell, Todd Poston, and Russ Hancock. So we'll see how the interval is this time by, and I think it's already smaller. I think it's already down to about 5.2. So yeah, so they're already gaining time, and you can see they get nose to tail. They're going 2 or 3 miles an hour faster than the top 3. So they should have did this about 4 laps ago, and they would have already been up there.
All right, so the 26 now trying to reel in and getting it done. 5.13 seconds between him and Russell Hancock. So that gap starting to close in. Dana Osborne in the 88 up to the high side. DJ Mitchell continuing to lead from 3 Wide Motorsports. 61, the 31, and the 343 going to have 9 laps Can they hold on for 9 laps as that gap is shrinking from our lead pack of 3 cars to the rest of the field? Well, I shouldn't say the rest of the field, but from 4th to 9th, they are trying to close in.
The gap is definitely shrinking. It's going very slowly, though. I'm sure much slower than Hunter and Paul would like. Depending on how things get ruled, one of them needs a win to beat the 4 Chris Akers, who wasn't able to get on track tonight. And it looks like as the laps turn down, it looks like that's going to be a thing that is not going to happen, as the 88 Dana Osborne is going to hit pit road. I believe he is just hitting pit road because I'm not too sure, but that's going to leave the 3 of Paul Servant with no real teammates. I believe it looks like the 17 of JD Crow is by himself.
JD Crow, part of the Magus stable.
So he's a guy that really has nothing to lose and might stick with you. That's something that the 3 can have in the back of his mind, is they're gaining a 10th here and there, slow moving, as I believe this lead 4 has gotten to 27 of Sean Stevens. And the interesting thing is, if Hunter in that pack can get within, can get about a second and a half to that 27, they'll immediately catch up. It's just like
they will start closing in a little bit faster for sure, but the 27 still within the draft range of the 343. So wow, they're doing a great job here, the 3 Wide Motorsports drivers, sitting a 1, 2, and 3. That gap is getting smaller finally. It is down now to 4.5 seconds from Russell Hancock to Hunter Reynolds, but I don't know if there's enough laps.
Yeah, like I said, they should have got single file, 5 laps earlier, when as soon as they came out of pit road, they should have been like, okay, they're 5 seconds ahead of us. Let's just knock this out and then we'll go race with one another. But they're finally within 4.5 seconds here, and like you said, not a whole lot of laps left. I mean, I think their best bet would, a caution comes out, and I think as this race kind of comes to a close, you're going to see this second pack, this majority of the field, kind of race a little bit harder, as they're just contently sitting single file. And I don't think that content nature is going to be much more, as I believe that gap just got a little bit smaller. They were going about 190 miles an hour into turn number 3, while the top 3 were going about 184 or so.
Yeah, they're sitting about a half a second faster per lap, but when you have a 4.2 second gap and now 5 laps to go, that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, they're going to need a caution to come out, and hats off to the guys over at 3 Wide. They started doing this strategy from the first stop to now, so definitely sticking with your guns is paying off. And we saw them, they are at the end of the pack, even though they pitted after everybody, but here they are with a 3.8 second lead on the 2 of the championship hopefuls, trying to steal a win at the end of the season, get a 3 Wide 1-2-3 maybe. And coming to lap 72, they're going to be within 3.5 seconds. It's going to be close when they get to the finish of this race, KR.
You mentioned Dana Osborne making that pit stop. We saw it happen here, and the 88 sitting on the pit road. He has not rolled back out on the track. We do have 2 cars not on the lead lap, Josh Milam and Sean Stevens. Sean Stevens had an extended pit stop there when he came down pit road on lap 60. He has gotten back out, and I'm not sure what happened to the 27. But that extended stay on pit road is what has put him behind here. But again, 3 laps to go. 3 Wide Motorsports with an outstanding strategy. Now just trying to see this thing go to the green flag the rest of the way. Hunter Reynolds now is within 3.3 seconds of Russell Hancock. So that gap is closing and closing quickly. But man, I don't think it's going to be enough. But if he can get, if anything happens between our 3 cars here, a little wobble, a little bit of a bobble, maybe a popped engine because the 31 is pushing too hard, and that is really going to allow Hunter Reynolds to close in that much faster.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I don't think the issue is going to be with those 3 guys up front. I think that they're chilled out right now. I mean, they're probably not chilled out, but being seasoned super speedway drivers, they know what they're doing. We'll give it to them. I think that the issue is going to be how close can they get as we go to 2 to go. How close can this field get? And they're not going to get there unless something happens. But I think you're going to see the second pack start to race more now that they realize, hey, we kind of messed up here. Let's just kind of race when we can, and that's going to be right now. And as soon as they get the white flag, all bets are off. It's checkers or wreckers, KR.
Yeah, and when that happens, you're right. All bets are off. This time, coming around through the tri-oval, the 61 of DJ Mitzel, racing with one hand for the moment, going to get the white flag. This is it, this race. Going to finish with the next flag, whether it be a caution or the checkered. Here we go. DJ Mitzel, Todd Poston, and Russell Hancock with an outstanding strategy. Gambled big, saying, we don't.
To the 3.
Paul Servant falling back. He maybe has popped an engine trying to push Hunter Reynolds as hard as he has.
He did pop an engine.
So Paul Servant, championship contender, came into this one second place in the point standings. Blows an engine on the last lap. Not gonna matter either way. The 61, the 31, and the 343 into the tri-oval. Final race of the season, championship night. DJ Mitzel gonna win it. Todd Poston second, Russell Hancock third. Hunter Reynolds comes home fourth, and JD Crow fifth. And I believe, if what I heard, that Chris Akers would get last place points, that is not going to matter. Akers will still be our champion.
And what about the 61? Driving with one arm, gets a win. Last race of the season, gets that W, and gets that 3 Wide Motorsports team of 1, 2, 3. And I'm sure that they're just as ecstatic as that, and we'll see the 61 do some burnouts with one hand. I'd suggest just taking the wheel off and just holding the gas pedal down.
A la Kyle Larson.
Oh yeah, that is the one thing that I love about having a quick release on my wheel. You just pop the rim off and just hold the gas pedal down.
Pull that thing out in dramatic fashion. But your race winner, DJ Mitzel, fresh off a shoulder surgery, driving one-handed. It might become a tradition for him, although I don't think he is looking forward to it being a tradition. But he picks up the race win, and let's get right into our post-race show and talk to our winners. He burns it down. DJ, one-handed burnouts for you. Congratulations, man.
Oh man, thanks, KR. This is tough, man. I got more confident as the race went on with the one arm, but I'll tell you, those last few laps, my heart rate was really high, just trying to run as best of a line as I could to try to keep those guys back there. My right arm is definitely tired.
Well, DJ, a long race here that went flag to flag, fresh off your surgery. So all of this, and here you are with what I would say was the best strategy. 3 Wide Motorsports worked together all race long. You all made an extra lap each pit stop. came down to the final pit stop. You hit pit road, gambled on this thing going the rest of the way, green flag, and it pays off big.
Yeah, it wasn't the first pit stop. That wasn't the strategy. We didn't necessarily want to stay out an extra lap, but Todd and Russ were up top, and I just said, well, I'll go up there with you. We'll go an extra lap. And then from then on, we just figured we'd go an extra lap. And then the last strategy was, let's get to where we know we can make it, get as little fuel as we can, and get back out. And I guess I was really surprised at how far ahead we got from these guys. I don't know if they had troubles getting in or not, but.
Well, DJ, it was an outstanding race for you and had to overcome a lot, man. And this race win, final race of the season. You came in 5th in the point standings, and I know it's not set in stone just yet, but as close as everything was, this win's going to boost you up, maybe up into 2nd.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I think with the win and the bonus points with the win that I should get 2nd. I guess it depends where Paul and Hunter were, but I'm hoping for 2nd.
Well, it's going to be close no matter what. So, DJ, man, congratulations. Picked up that win here in the final race of the season. Any shout-outs or thank yous you'd like to give?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, KR and Travis, for broadcasting. I know this is your last race with NSRA, so just want to say appreciate it for all you've done for us. And then just the 3 Wide Motorsports, Russ and Steven and Todd, been having a blast running with you guys. And then just all the drivers that come out with NSRA. We love hanging out with everybody and racing. It's a great group of guys.
All right, DJ. Well, man, nice job and congratulations on the win, and go get that shoulder healed up all the way and come back with 2 hands.
Yeah, 10-4. Thank you.
All right, that is your race winner, DJ Mitzel. And Travis, he did it in a dramatic fashion, but you know what? We got to talk to our championship winner. That is the driver of the 4 machine. That is Chris Akers. And Travis, I believe you've caught up with him.
Well, I feel pretty privileged in calling you, I believe, this season's champion, Mr. Chris Akers.
Yes, sir. I like the sound of that, but I hate the way I got it. iRacing was being stubborn tonight, and I couldn't get logged in. It was keep giving me a network connection error, and I worked my tail off for the last hour and a half trying to get in. But thank God for those 2 wins for the last 2 races. I was really hoping to come in tonight and win a 3rd one, but I guess didn't get to do that. Heck yeah! How about champion? That sounds great.
Hey man, it's a special thing winning a championship, especially with a group of guys who you really respect as your peers, and when you race every single week and really know what these guys can do. And I know you said you didn't want to win it this way, but I mean, you got two in a row. One being at iRacing Super Speedway, which is incredibly finicky track to get wins at. But after the season you had, you're here. You're the NSRA Sunday Select season champion, and I'm just gonna give the floor to you, man. You want to give shout outs or your thoughts on the entire season, anything like that?
Man, you said it great there. I had one of the worst seasons I think I've had in a long time. I come in with 2 races to go, telling myself I have to win to get in. I come in, I won at iRacing Super Speedway, the track I hate the most. I can't stand running at the place, and I won. Come in 12th in points, didn't give up. Won the very first race. Thought I was on a roll, sort of worried about iRacing Super Speedway again, and I lucked out at that daggone track, and it pulled off another win. And I thought, shoot, we'll come into this last race, I'm going to give it hell, and we're going to win again, or at least try to. And then iRacing messed up on me, but that's a heck of a season not to give up on after the ups and downs I've had, and starting off laps down every week and just being aggravated at it, come back and really win the championship. But I couldn't really do it without the team that stands behind me. Candy Shack, I can't thank Holloway and Paul and Dana enough for running week in, week out with me. We have some of the baddest fast race cars out here on the track week in, week out. makes it pretty tough with the other group of guys. And you know, I gotta give a shout out to Mark Mann and over there with Hunter Reynolds and them guys. They put the pressure on us. They make us, hit our marks week in, week out too. And I enjoy racing with them just as much. I know we like to cut up, carry on, and give each other crap, but that's what makes racing what it is. And shoot, it's awesome being an NSRA champion for the first time in the last 4 seasons. I think I have the most wins in the series too, so that's nice to be able to say. And let's give a huge shout out to Herman and DJ and Todd for putting this league on. It's a handful. I've run a league before, and it is a huge handful to take on, and those guys do it perfectly and enjoy running here. And most importantly, thanks to KR and you for broadcasting the races week in and week out. I can't say enough about it. I love watching the replays during the week and enjoy being able to talk to y'all at the end of the race. That's the best thing ever.
And I feel like we always talk to one of you guys at Candy Shack, or you're somewhere in the top 3. So great showing out by your team this season. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next season and building on like you said, you had the most wins. Now you're the season 4 champion, and that's it's a real thing to cherish and feel real proud of, man. You did a great job.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Those Candy Shack guys try to talk to y'all week in, week out. That's our goal. Is at least be able to talk to y'all.
Yeah, we talked to. It's pretty much just one of you 4 that's somewhere in the top 3. But
yes, sir.
Just glad to get to talk to you after getting this championship, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how the race 1 the next season is, man.
Yes, sir. I can't wait to get there.
I look forward to seeing you then, man.
All right, that is our race champion. I shouldn't say race, our champion winner.
The race champion.
Yeah, he won more races this season. He says he doesn't want to win it this way, but he had deserved it. 3 wins this season, and picked up 2 of them during the chase. Talk about being hot at the right time. But Travis, this season draws to a close, and that is going to do it for us. And NSRA going to be moving on. I don't know about you. You might get invited back, but this is possibly my last NSRA race for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about that. I think I've been mentioned to maybe do something with them. I'm not too sure, but definitely this season being in the booth the entire year has really helped. Help me with like the broadcasting and stuff. So appreciate you guys at Turn 3 for having me up here in the booth and talking about racing, talking about super speedway racing for a couple hours on a Sunday night. Definitely looking forward to what's going to happen next season. It's going to be interesting. Definitely going to miss you being up in the booth with me. It's going to be weird if I'm up in the booth and you're not, but you got to grow sometime. You got to spread your wings and fly away.
That you do. And Travis, I want to thank you for an outstanding season, for joining me week in and week out. And I want to thank all the fans for tuning in, as they always do as well. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Chris Akers picks up the championship. DJ Mitzel winning the race in dramatic fashion. And guys, thank you so much for joining us here tonight as we sign off on the Turn 3 Racing Network for the final time in quite a while. Thank you so much, y'all, and I look forward to seeing you next time.